तव कथामृतं तप्त जीवनं कविभिडीडितं कल्मषापहं श्रवणमंगलं श्रीमदाततं भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जनाः। Let us resume our discussion on Sri Ramakrishna's spiritual discourses with his intimate devotees at his residence in Dakshineshwar temple premises on 22nd February 1885, the Sunday following his birthday Tithi celebration. Incidentally, this was the last birthday celebration held in the life of Sri Ramakrishna, because following year he would be shifted to Calcutta for his treatment of throat cancer. So this was the last birthday festivity of his life, and so it was very significant. Of course, the birthday celebration as usual consisted of spiritual discourses, kirtan, bhajan and distribution of prasad, and it was crowned by the presence of Narendranath, Swami Vivekananda and other intimate devotees as well. Now here we find that Sri Ramakrishna has revealed his intimate relation with Narendranath, saying that he is a class by himself and he is complementary to Sri Ramakrishna. He represented knowledge while Sri Ramakrishna represented devotion. So here one important discussion was held, which we discussed in our last Sunday class, where the necessity of studies were mentioned by Sri Ramakrishna. In our spiritual life, there is an important spiritual discipline which is called Swadhyaya, scriptural study, which is necessary for the development of our spiritual foundation. But Sri Ramakrishna is giving us here a warning based on the scriptural injunction that too much of study may lead us away from the goal. पढ़ाई करना चाहिए, धर्म ग्रंथ पढ़ना चाहिए, लेकिन पढ़ाई तब तक हमारे जीवन में ज़रूरत होता है जब तक हम धर्म मार्ग में चलना शुरू न करें। एक बार मार्ग में चलना शुरू कर दिया तब किताब छोड़ के चलना पड़ेगा। That is our inhibition. We study the scriptures and primarily it becomes very dry. It's a drudgery. Scripture is a very peculiar experience we have. When we start reading the scriptures, we do not get joy in it. But when we get acquainted with the language and meaning, commentary, then we start getting the inner meaning and enjoy the scriptures. It is compared with sugar cane, ganna, आँख। गन्ना का रस निकलना मुश्किल है, गन्ना बहुत कठिन होता है, ऐसी चबाने से रस नहीं मिलता है। लेकिन बहुत चबाने से जब रस मिलना शुरू हो जाता है तब वो मिठास लगता है। लेकिन ज़्यादा चबाने से क्या होता है, वो गन्ना तो फेंक देना पड़ेगा। हमारा समस्या क्या है, हम चबाते ही रह गए। यही है समस्या। So when we study scriptures, when we start getting joy, then we continue to derive the joy from the scriptures and we get swayed away from our goal. हमें समझना चाहिए कि शास्त्र पाठ, स्वाध्याय एक प्रस्तुति है, परिसमाप्ति नहीं है। Reading is not an end in itself, but unfortunately in most of our life it gives us an intellectual pleasure, मानसिक आनंद, बौद्धिक आनंद देते हैं। बातचीत करना, फिर getting involved into debates, discussions, and in that melee we miss the goal. Sri Ramakrishna is pointing out that important link in our life, that we are here to realize God, not to get bogged down with scriptural pleasures, and that he very nicely presents. It was told by Narendranath as a sarcastic comment to Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna was inquiring, what were they talking about him? Then Narendranath said that we were discussing that we are learned and you are illiterate, which is true. Sri Ramakrishna didn't study in the schools and colleges, whereas his devotees like Narendranath, Girish Chandra Ghosh, they were graduates of Calcutta University. Some were even postgraduate. She said that we are learned and you are illiterate. See, Ramakrishna says, he turns the table wonderfully. He says, I have no grievance that I haven't studied much. Rather, that has given him an advantage instead. Sri Ramakrishna used to say, Pash kora mane pash pora. When we become successful in an examination, we pass the examination, passing certificate. We become happy, we become proud. You have to have passed an examination. But this pass in English means crossing an examination. The pass in Sanskrit means a bondage. इसीलिए भगवान शिव को कहलाता है पाश मुक्त शिव, and the जीव is पाश बद्ध जीव. Pash means bondage. We are tied down by 8 bondages, Ashtapash. लज्जा, घृणा, भय, कुल, शील, जाति, वित्त, मान इत्यादि 8 forms of bondages. Now one is this ahankar, Vidya's ahankar, the ego, the pride of erudition, which we feel is a qualification, is indeed a disqualification for us. It is to be noted. Most of us will feel sorry to learn, but that is the fact. What we are holding as a great qualification, that we are educated, we know so many things, in fact that is a disqualification, because that is adding one more bondage to us. It gives us false ego and takes us away from our goal, which is God. More our ego is inflated, ahankar, more you are away from God. God is closest with us. God is seated within our heart. Why are we not able to reach Him? Because we are separated by a wall. एक दीवार से हम लोग का अलग कर दिया गया. What is that wall? That is अहंकार. अहंकार का प्राचीर. And thicker is the wall, further we are away from God. So we are thickening the wall by self-gratification, self-pride. These people had the audacity to say Sri Ramakrishna that you are a fool and we are learned. How foolish they were, just try to imagine. They are saying Sri Ramakrishna that you don't know anything. We are learned people. Sri Ramakrishna is telling them, I don't have any grievance that I have not studied. Nevertheless, I have understood the spirit of the scriptures. That is necessary, that he has not denied. He has not said the scriptures are not necessary in our life. But scriptures are not end in itself. That is the message. We should not end our life in reading the scriptures over and over again. So this point he has driven with an anecdote, with a story. That was his wonderful way of presenting anything, with a beautiful story. So story he says, which is well known, that there was a letter received. One letter was received, but then unfortunately the letter was lost. So then there was a great search to find out where is the letter. Now very graphically he says that several people were engaged to find out the letter. And after a long search, the letter was recovered. And then the letter was read. What is there? In the letter it was written that a list of items to be procured. And that is very simple, very nicely presented in that anecdote. Everything has a deep meaning. The list of items are not much, only 2 items. That 5 kilograms of sweet and 1 piece of red bordered cloth have to be procured and sent. One indent was given in the letter. So when the letter was read, the person understood what is to be done. Then he threw away the letter. वो चिट्ठी फेंक दिया और चिट्ठी में जो लिखा हुआ है उसको लाने के लिए तैयारी किया. Went about in procuring those materials. So Sri Ramakrishna is saying, similarly, when you have come to this world, we have lost the road map. क्या करना है, कहाँ जाना है. When you come to a city, we need a route map. The route map is lost. So after a long search with the help of several people, because what is to be studied cannot be done single-handed. You need a set of teachers. You have to go to schools and colleges, help from the different teachers and learn, find out what is to be done. So that scriptures, he says, Guru mukhe, Shastra mukhe jene nite hoy. You have to learn from a guru. He doesn't deny. You have to learn from a teacher, and then having understood the spirit of the scriptures, having known what is to be done, then you have to set out to follow the scriptures, not just go on studying. If you go on memorizing the list, then this letter is counterproductive. It doesn't have any bearing in your life. So when you have learned that the spirit of what is to be done, then you have to do. करना पड़ेगा, उसी को साधन कहलाता है. Unless there is sadhan followed by study, then study is meaningless. So Sri Ramakrishna says, I have not studied the scriptures myself. I asked Divine Mother, please reveal to me what is there in your scriptures. And she has given me the essence of the scriptures. The entire essence of the Vedanta is Brahma Satya Jagan Mithya. God alone is real, and the world what we see in front of us is unreal. ट्रांजिटरी, परिवर्तनशील, जबकि भगवान शाश्वत, चिरंतन। इसको जानने का नाम ही शास्त्र ज्ञान है। जान लिया, देन भगवत गीता का क्या एसेंस बता दिया। 10 बार भगवत गीता उच्चारण करने से जो होता है, इफ यू रिपीट भगवत गीता 10 टाइम्स, दैट गिव्स द एसेंस ऑफ गीता। तो गीता गीता करते तागी हो जाता है। तागी मीन्स त्यागी और रिनाउंसिएशन। So the essence of the Bhagavad Gita has revealed to him by Divine Mother as renunciation. When you have known that renunciation is the essence of life, then you practice renunciation. You are leading a life of bondage, and from dawn to dusk repeating the tyage naik amritattva manashu, that is totally useless. So having read those, that letter has to be thrown and the action has to be. So our life should be action oriented, sadhana oriented, not study oriented. But in most of our times, we get great joy in participating in a debate and discussion and intellectual pursuit. Sri Ramakrishna says, this we have to be careful and orient our life towards the spiritual attainment of the goal of our every individual. This has been substantiated in the scriptures. Whatever Sri Ramakrishna says is nothing contrary to the scriptures. Master Mahashaya, when he had mentioned this, he has even given the quotation, the reference of the Upanishads, which unfortunately is deleted in the translations. In the Hindi and English translation ने delete कर दिया, नहीं करना चाहिए था। यहाँ पर जो मास्टर महाशय जो रेफरेंस दिया है for this section is given Mundaka Upanishad 4.4.22 and 4.4.21. In fact, 4.4.21, where it says in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad 4.4.21, the rishis declared, Tameva dhiro vigyaya pragyam kurvit brahmanah nano dhyayat bahun shabdan bacho bigla panam hitat. It's a very famous shloka of the Upanishad. Tameva dhiro vigyaya. So when you study the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, then you are in fact studying the entire scriptures. It is a gist, essence of all the scriptures are presented in a very lucid form. So here the Rishi says, Dhira Brahmanaha. This scripture is meant for whom? Dhiman Brahma Jigyasu. The letter was being searched by sincere people. They wanted to act according to the letter. Scriptural study should not be for the sake of study only. In most of our cases, the learning is a matter of profession. Learning is a matter of acquisition of some degrees and for some other end. Scriptural study should be the purpose of God realization. That's why it is said, this is Dhira Brahmanaha, Dhiran Brahma Jigyasu, those who want to realize God. What they should do? Tam eva Vigyaya Pragyam Kurvita. He has, when after learning the method of obtaining this Atman, then he should strive, attempt, endeavor to realize God. So he has to, there is some do and don't. करना क्या करना है, क्या नहीं करना है बता दिया एक श्लोक में. उनको आत्मा के बारे में जानने के उपरांत आत्मा को प्राप्त करने के लिए साधन करना चाहिए. और क्या नहीं करना चाहिए? न अनुध्यायात बहुन शब्दान बाछो विज्ञापनम ही तत्. क्या सुंदर बताया. वो बहुन शब्दान अनेक स्क्रिप्चर नहीं पढ़ेंगे और बारंबार चिट्ठी पढ़ने का ज़रूरत नहीं है. वेस्टेज ऑफ टाइम, वेस्टेज ऑफ एनर्जी. न अनुध्याय. The Upanishad is telling not to study the Upanishad. What a great this our system of knowledge is with us. This is our tradition. Our original Upanishad is saying, do not study the Upanishad any further. Your job is over, you have learned. Now you try to realize God and na anudhayat. और चिंतन ना करें. कारण वाई वाच विज्ञापन में तक ये बागींद्रिय का ग्लानि कर. इट विल टायर योर वोकल ऑर्गन. You go on reciting the scriptures, it will tire your vocal organ. क्लांति कर, ग्लानि कर. हमारा जो बाक इंद्रिय है और स्पीच है, बाकी इंद्रिय स्पीच एक इंद्रिय है ना, हमारा कर्मेंद्रिय है. वेरी पावरफुल कर्मेंद्रिय इज अवर पावर ऑफ स्पीच. तो बारंबार इसको इस्तेमाल करें फॉर नो पर्पस, ये ग्लानिकर होगा. इज काउंटर प्रोडक्टिव. इट शुड नॉट बी डन. All you have to do, you have to learn what to do and proceed. चिट्ठी में ठाकुर सहज बताया, मैं चिट्ठी में लिख दिया बस. वो चिट्ठी अनुसार अभी कपड़ा और मिठाई का बंदोबस्त करो. This is another Upanishadic text that has been quoted here. That is Mundaka Upanishad. That is a famous Upanishad in 226. There he says, अरा इव रथ नाभौ संघता जत्र नाड्यः स एषोऽन्तरः चरति बहुधा जायमानः ओमित्येवं ध्यायत आत्मानं स्वस्ति वः पाराय तमसः परस्तात्. व्हाट ए ब्यूटीफुल पोएट्री. अरा इव रथ नाभौ संघता जत्र नाड्यः. अर्थात as the different spokes of a wheel is embedded in its hub, at the center of the wheel, different spokes, एक चक्र का जो शलाका होता है वो चक्र का जो केंद्र में समाहित होता है. वैसे ही हमारे जितने नाभि है, all are centered, all are connected. The heart, core of our heart. जैसे चक्र शलाका जो रथ का है, रथ का जो चक्र शलाका उसका सेंटर में कनेक्टेड रहता है, वैसे ही हमारे जितने nerves है, all the nerves are connected at the core of our heart. और within that heart the Param Purusha is Birajman. God is residing within the core of our heart where all our nerves get converged. It is the center. Hridaya is the center. Ishvara Sarvabhutanam Riddeshe Arjuna Tishtati. Brahman Sarvabhutani Jantra Rudani Mayaya. That's what in Bhagavad Gita Sri Krishna says. Chapter 18, verse 61. प्रत्येक के भीतर में, प्रत्येक जीव के भीतर में, हृदय में ईश्वर विराजमान है। वहाँ बैठ के सबको प्ररोचित करते हैं। He is guiding everyone and seated at the core of his heart. When we know this truth, ये बता दिया, that is scripture has said, then what you have to done? This part. Om ityevam dhyato atmanam. When you have learned this, तब वो आत्मा को प्राप्त करने के लिए ओंकार पूर्वक उनको ध्यान करो. Meditate on that Atman by repeating the mantra of Om. That has been told by our method of sadhana. We are all initiated by Samartha Gurus. What the Guru has done? Guru has given a name with Omkar. When you get mantra diksha, we get a name with Omkar. That name has to be repeated, जिसको जप कहलाता है. There is a spiritual practice told by us. Mantra jap karo. And that is the scriptures are saying. When you have learned that God is residing within your heart, then you try to realize that ultimate reality by repeating His name. Put it with Omkar. Even transcend this cycle of birth and death. तमसः परस्तात्, ये जो अज्ञान का अंधकार है, इसको अतीत में, परपार में जाने के लिए आप लोग आगे बढ़ो. Strive to realize God in this very life. Do not waste time. But for that you have to know क्या करना है. जब गुरु का आदेश मिल गया, गुरु का साधन मिल गया, गुरु ने बता दिया ये तुम्हारा मंत्र है, ये तुम्हारा इष्ट है, बस वो लेके तुम्हें आगे बढ़ना चाहिए. और फालतू ये सब ज़्यादा पढ़ने से और चर्चा करने से कोई फ़ायदा नहीं है. दे वर वेस्टिंग देयर टाइम इन प्रेजेंस ऑफ श्री रामकृष्ण, दिस नरेंद्रनाथ एंड गिरीश चंद्र एटसेट्रा. Sri Ramakrishna wonderfully taught them the lesson that what you thought that you are very learned, in fact you are big fools, you are wasting your time. Next, Sri Ramakrishna is asking Girish Chandra Ghosh, what were you talking about me? श्री रामकृष्ण गिरीश के प्रति, हाँ जी, मेरी बात तुम लोग सब क्या कह रहे थे? He was asking that we are discussing about me, but I am an insignificant person. पहले ही बता दिया, मैं खाता पीता और मज़े में रहता हूँ, मेरे बारे में क्या चर्चा कर रहे थे? गिरीश चंद्र सेज, आपकी बात और क्या कहूँगा, आप क्या साधु है? नो, अगेन अनदर sarcastic comment was given by Girish Chandra Ghosh. What were you saying about me? What should he have been saying about you? Are you a holy man? आप क्या साधु है? This was very wrong to say this to a person. आप क्या साधु है? But how Sri Ramakrishna replied, no, nothing of that sort. I really do not feel that I am a holy man. देखिए, मैं साधु वाधु नहीं, सच ही तो मुझ में साधु बोध नहीं है. देखिए कितना गहरा बात बता दिया. आप क्या साधु है? बोले नहीं, मेरे पास साधु बोध नहीं है. गिरीश चंद्र कहते हैं मजाक में भी आपसे हार गया। वो मजाक कर रहे थे वह उसमें हार गया। कारण ये साधु बोध इज अनदर पाश बॉन्डेज, अहंकार। एक जो हमारे अहंकार होता है वह है विद्या का अहंकार, द ईगो ऑफ नॉलेज, इरुडिशन, पांडित्य, विजडम। व्हेन यू नो समथिंग देन वी आर प्राउड, बहुत कुछ जान लिया। पर उससे भी खतरा अहंकार है वैराग्य के अहंकार, ईगो ऑफ रिनाउंसिएशन। श्रीमा शरद भी कहते हैं कि जो साधु होते हैं उनका 3 प्रकार का अहंकार होता है। विद्या अहंकार, रूप का अहंकार और वैराग्य का अहंकार। साधु के पास कुछ नहीं रहता है, लेकिन उनका जो साधन का जो औज्जल्य, द ब्रिलियंस ऑफ हिज स्पिरिचुअल ट्रेजर। सेकेंडली उनका शास्त्र पाठ का अहंकार, और तीसरा वैराग्य का अहंकार। मैं साधु हूँ। साधु बना है अहंकार को नाश करने के लिए। देखिए कैसे काउंटर प्रोडक्टिव। ही हैज़ गिवन अप हिज नॉर्मल वे ऑफ लाइफ टू रियलाइज गॉड एंड गेट रीड ऑफ ईगो। बट ये वैराग्य हैज़ बिकम ए काउंटर प्रोडक्टिव अहंकार। हाउ डेंजरस! And it does not leave him. He does not know. Sadhus will not know that he is under this illusion. इसीलिए श्री रामकृष्ण कहते हैं मुझ में साधु बोध नहीं है। I have been able to digest that feeling within me and I have been able to transcend that ego, ahankar. Vidya vinayam dadati. When a person has become established in his spirituality, then he'll be able to transcend these all types of ego. When he says, "Are you a holy man?" he said, "Not at all. I have been able to transcend this ego so that I am what I am." This should be the attitude of a spiritual aspirant. Sri Ramakrishna, by dint of his own life, he is demonstrating how the devotee should behave. No one should have this ego, ahankar, that I am so and so, I have become so much attached to God, I am elevated. These are all counterproductive. But be very careful. We should not allow the least trace of ego to creep in within us and make us away from God. अहंकार आया तो भगवान से हमारा दूरी बन गया। अहंकार बहुत खतरनाक है। ये प्रसंग को श्री रामकृष्ण और आगे बढ़ाते हुए जो चर्चा किया है, द डिस्कशन व्हाट ही हैज़ डन, दैट वी शैल टेक अप इन आवर नेक्स्ट संडे क्लास। निरंजनम नित्यम अनंतरूपम भक्तानुकंपाधृतविग्रहं वै ईशावतारं परमेशमिड्यं तं रामकृष्णं शिरसा नमामः। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम तत्सत्। श्री रामकृष्णार्पणमस्तु। let us close with the chanting of the Lord. Please join with me. Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om. Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om. Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om. Ramakrishna, Hari Om. Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om. Ramakrishna, Hari Om. Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om. Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om. Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om. Ramakrishna, Hari Om. Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om. Ramakrishna, Hari Om. Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om. Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om. Announcement: tomorrow is Buddha Purnima, so there will be discussion on his life and teachings, as well as Shamnam Sankirtan, because tomorrow is Purnima Tithi, after evening Arati. All of you are welcome.